Yebo guys, and welcome to my channel again. So Dimlo, it's me again, who empowered 100%. So guys, I am very disappointed at Clicks. So Clicks decided to make an advert where they are making a very offensive statements about 100% human black, you know, a black child's hair. I felt very offended. So Mr. CEO Ntonton, and Funukbosh, I'm scared to say people's names. Mr. Ntonton was interviewed on the news, and he had a lot to say, but nothing like "I am sorry" to the entire nation for such. So guys, nilalele to what he said on the interview, and I'm gonna give you what my thoughts are about his interview.
Vikesh, a very good morning to you. Just looking at your statement, and you've already expressed your deep disappointment that we allowed, as you say, insensitive and offensive images. Who exactly allowed this? Where does the buck actually stop when it comes to putting out advertising like this?
So I think it's got to do with really poor process and management and control from our side. So, these decisions were left to relatively junior people in the organization, which is a massive learning for ourselves and will be changed immediately. And once I've settled all of these discussions, I will certainly be engaging with my senior management to understand how did this actually allow to be happen in our organization.
You should be hanging your head in shame, Mr. CEO. Are you ashamed of yourself?
Well, I certainly am ashamed by what has happened. I am really deeply disappointed, and personally I'm devastated by this. We certainly don't stand for this as an organization. I certainly don't stand for this as an organization, but I cannot remove, what has happened. And all I can do is make sure that our organization becomes far more racially sensitive moving forward.
Vikesh, I mean, you can appreciate that those words this morning might mean nothing to the majority of our population. And as Dan said earlier, that, we have such deep wounds. We have so many incidents. It's not the first time something like this has happened. So you talk about what has happened, but I still would like to know how it happened. And don't you actually get to see the product before it, as CEO or your team, who gets to see it before it gets put out there?
So as you can understand, we list thousands of products, and Tresemme is a big brand. It's listed on our website, etc. And the most senior management don't get involved in signing that off. We take an enormous amount of time overlooking, our typical media. We've been a typical brick and mortar retailer, and over the last 3 years, we've moved into the digital space. And what has become really obvious here is that we have real gaps in our sign-off and oversight process, which will correct immediately. But that doesn't remove our accountability. It was placed on our website. It took me 2 seconds to look at this material and see that it's inflammatory. It was actually disgusting. But I just don't understand why our employees, when they looked at it, didn't notice that. So it doesn't avert the responsibility to anyone else. The job for me now is to make sure that the organization never repeats this. And I've got an enormous amount of work to do to actually resolve the potential either conscious or unconscious biasness that still exists in my organization.
Vikesh, who owns Tresemme?
Sorry, I missed your question.
Who owns Tresemme? Who produces Tresemme?
Unilever does.
What have they said? What has Unilever said about this?
Well, they've put an apology up on their website, and that's been about it, I think.
Well, Vikesh, at this point, I think the country is going to want to know who is the person or the people who came up with the thinking behind this ad, who came up wrongfully so, who actually came up with the concept for this ad. Have you identified, whether it's from Unilever, Tresemme, your ad, whoever it is, have you identified the people who thought this atrocious thing up?
No, certainly within our organization, of course, we have. We know who loaded this onto our website. The one thing I do want to make categorically clear, though, we did not create this content. Yeah. So again, I cannot divert the accountability, but it's in 2 parts. The content was created. The advert was certainly not, instigated by ourselves, etc. But we loaded it on our website. We should have had far greater oversight and been much more sensitive. But we certainly didn't create the content.
I think we need to speak to Unilever and whoever is the creator of Tresemme's adverts, because this is shockingly racist. I mean, you've now issued a statement, Vikesh, as Clicks, you carry one of the products, of course, is Tresemme that you put on your shelves. So just tell our viewers very quickly what action, if any, has been taken, because EFF, they are protesting outside some of your stores this morning. They sent you a letter last week demanding certain actions. What actions have you taken as Clicks?
So there's a few things. Firstly, we've obviously suspended the employees that have loaded this on our website.
How many employees? How many employees?
There were 2 employees that loaded this onto our website. Obviously, an employee and a manager that signed that off.
Okay.
So the next thing we have done is done an immediate audit of all our third-party material, because we receive material from many other sources. You know, we've typically been a brick-and-mortar retailer for over 50 years. Digital and online, etc., has been relatively new for us. So it's highlighted the amount of work we have to do with not just receiving third-party material and posting it on our website. I've spent the weekend, consulting across the organization, because myself, I'm really deeply disappointed about this. I couldn't believe this happened within our organization, because until Thursday, I thought we were in the right direction around transformation. We're doing an enormous work here. 60% of our board is black. More than 80% of our employees are black. But what I've come to realize is actually I still have a lot more work to do in the company. I can always pass the buck to Unilever, which I'm not doing. I can do what I can within my organization to make sure that this doesn't repeat itself. And before I came out to the media today, I don't just want to make random arbitrary statements. I want to make sure that I can fulfill what I'm saying. And certainly, over the next few months, I will be personally involved in driving the transformation agenda in my company.
Vikesh, and I'm just going to ask a question that I'm sure most South Africans are wanting the answer to this morning. You mentioned that you have suspended, I think it was 2 employees, and I suppose the obvious question is, are they black or white?
So I think I wouldn't want to state that. I really wouldn't want to give up their race, etc., because I think we all accept accountability for this.
But I think that it is vital to basically who's in what position when it comes to sensitivity and putting material like this out. So I think I'm not asking you for their names. I just want to know whether they're black or white, and that would give you something to think about as to who does what in your organization.
No, 100%. What I can say to you is that the team that does look after all of the material have 2 black people in it, a colored manager, and 2 white staff members. So it's quite a diverse team that works within our marketing area. And how this slipped through them, I quite frankly am still investigating and will have to understand. But in this world, you also have unconscious biasness. And that's something that I think is a lot harder to fix unless you have programs that continuously remind and drive the need for diversity and inclusivity in any business. And that's the path that I will now take to make sure that we have a program, but to revive it, to put it into action, and to make sure that it's top of mind for all individuals at our head office.
Thank you very much, Vikesh.
Hi guys, ngiyamuzwa mina Mr. Vikesh uyakhuluma, but whatever he's saying, it does not make sense to my ears. Because guys, okokuqala, it's a process for an advert to be approved, ne? So those ones who are at the bottom of the food chains and those terms, I don't know the terms, but those who are at the bottom of the food chain will obviously come up with an idea of an ad. Then once they have come up with an idea, someone needs to approve the idea. Then once the idea is approved, they need to find the models. They need to do the photo shoot. Someone needs to approve those things. The budget for the photo shoot itself, the pictures, the end pictures need to be approved. Someone literally chose the pictures, and someone literally chose the text ebhalwa on the pictures. So lento kuba bafuna ukusconfuse ayikho nje. These people, they intentionally did this, and they owe the entire nation an apology, because lento abayenza mina andithandi, I don't like it, akirati, aniranzi, like honestly. So guys, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, because I believe I have things that can actually value you guys. Be 100% empowered. Love you, love you, love you, love you.